It is 2024. What is the best way to view marketing? What things should you adjust and what should you be focusing on as you're trying to market to clients? Hi, I am Kayla Swanson and I am your host of the Profitable Salon Owner podcast. And hanging out with me once again for like the fourth or fifth time is Kati Whitledge. What's up, Katie?
Hey everybody, how you doing, Kayla?
So good. Now, I know that you can relate with me if you're listening to this. Of like, there's people in your life that you talk to and they just live and breathe like something really passionate. Like, they just start talking. You're like, man, they do the research. They love it for themselves because they want to understand themselves. That's how I feel about talking to Katie about marketing specifically. That every time we have a conversation about it, I just feel the passion. I feel just like from the statistics and the way that you communicate about it. So it's always a pleasure to have you on the podcast to talk specifically about marketing.
Well, thank you. The pleasure is mine. And this truly is a topic that I could talk about all day long because they say that marketing solves 99. It's like I got 99% problems, but marketing's not one because marketing can solve 90% of your problems. I love it.
I love that because I think even like the salon owners, like we've talked to a lot of salon owners and they don't feel that way. They're just like, no, marketing is not my thing. Like I want to own a salon, take care of people. They have a lot of strengths, but marketing can sometimes feel confusing, can feel daunting, can feel just like what is the right way to go about it. There's like a million and one marketing. I like do your marketing this way out there. And so to know what is the right advice, what advice to follow, what advice to take and actually apply to your salon or your business, what can you put your money behind and know it's actually going to get you results, which is what I'm really excited about talking about today. So, Katie, let's dive a little bit into marketing to like kind of ease into this. So, marketing specifically, tell me a little bit about like what is the purpose of marketing in terms of like, because there used to be like door to door, like, hey, come to my salon. So, what is the power of marketing in your opinion?
Well, the power of marketing is everything. Understanding what marketing is and who you're always marketing to is another thing that we kind of forget about. So, marketing is simply communicating.
Hmm.
And then there's also marketing research, which the research is meant to help you communicate. You're always communicating with your prospective clients, your existing clients, your prospective team members, and your existing team members. So, understanding that as a foundation uh, is so important because if we're in the business of building relationships and we say to people, what do you think makes a great relationship? They would say great communication. That
Hands down.
is marketing.
Wow. I love that. That's a good, I love the push, like the bird's eye view of realizing that, yeah, when you're marketing, it's communication. And if you think about like the fundamentals of communication, it's like knowing how to communicate with people. Communication is less about you being able to get your words out and more about understanding the way that your audience receives your words. If you're trying to build a relationship with somebody and you're trying to build that communication, learning to understand the way that they receive what you say, so then you know how to communicate better to them. And in a nutshell, that's kind of how marketing is, understanding your audience. I love what you said that. It's such an important part of it. Who are you marketing to? Because once you know who you're marketing to, you understand how they communicate, what their pain points are, what things will speak to them, and then how to become a part of their world. So then it's a no-brainer for them to join your salon, which is what I love. So let's dive into that. So in communication, what are some like good versus okay marketing? Like how do you just kind of like start to just, this is a golden way
Mm.
to pursue marketing?
Oh, such a good question. I think the first thing you want to ask yourself when you're about to communicate anything is what's in it for them and why should they
Hmm.
care?
So good. Which sometimes people think the other way, like what's in it for me? It's like what's in it for them.
Yeah. And when you put yourself in the shoes of a consumer, which to me is the fun of it, we're all consumers. We are buying things constantly or buying into brands. We identify with certain brands.
Constantly.
We love to be marketed to, if we're going to be really honest. So putting yourself in the shoes of the consumer is going to really affect what you offer and how you offer it.
So good. So good. That's like interesting perspective of thinking of like, yeah, like we're marketing is everywhere. Subliminal marketing, in your face marketing, like you are being marketed on a daily basis. The ads in your Instagram, everything. That's like it's you're surrounded by it. And so, but what the difference that you can feel in marketing is when you're marketed by somebody who like has an emotional response in you and you're like, oh, you resonate with something. That is marketing is going to ingrain more because that's what everybody all people trying to market are they're trying to figure out how can I resonate with my audience so that they get more invested and they take the next step. So I know today, Katie, you and I are going to start diving into leads and to talk about like how do you nurture an audience and nurture your avatar to be able to create more for your business. Because I think some people just, they kind of throw spaghetti at a wall. They're like, oh yeah, here's some people. And then they kind of have a different understanding of what it means to actually get leads. So let's dive into that. What is a lead?
Well, it's very good that you ask that, because a lot of people don't pay attention to the lead part. A
Yeah.
lot of business owners focus just on, I want to get new clients in the door. But there are steps that happen before a new client comes in the door, and getting leads is what every major brand focuses on. And that's really the top of a sales funnel. It's called building awareness. So building awareness about your brand in general. Like, I'm not going to do business with you until, if I don't know that you even exist. Once
Right.
I know you exist, I got to decide, do I like you? Do I feel like you are a reflection of who I believe I am as a personal brand? And once I say, yeah, I feel that way, then it's like, can I trust you? Once I trust you, I'll buy from you. So there's all these little steps that happen before, but the very beginning of that is even knowing you exist. So building the awareness part of your funnel is critical. And I think it's often an overlooked step. We want to get right into getting in front of clients and getting them to come in. Well, we rely a lot on SEO for that, which is very important. If somebody is actually in the market to get their hair done and they're searching on Google, you want to be found. There's so much to be said about investing in SEO. I think it's a critical step. But what
Also,
about
SEO is search engine optimization for those who don't know listening. Continue.
correct, which means if I'm a consumer and I go on Google and I'm like finding a hair salon or hairstylist near me, who comes up? Once that happens, now it's important to have positive reviews. It's like being on Amazon and you're searching for a new
Oh, totally.
coffee maker, and then what comes up? It's like same steps,
Same rules apply.
same rules apply. But what about when I'm a consumer, let's say on social media, and I'm not really looking to buy right now, but something really sexy or appealing comes on my feed, and now I click through and I'm interested in that. We all do this. If I've ever clicked through, and for me, usually it's something like athleisure clothes or something like that,
Totally. We all
um,
have our thing. You know, if
totally.
you're listening to this, something's coming to your mind of what you would click on if you saw it.
What is that for you? And typically, once you bounce into that site or that brand, you are going to be prompted with something, and it's usually a way to get your contact information in return for a special offer. And usually when I'm on there, it's like get 20% off your first order type of thing.
Totally.
We can all visualize this. We probably did it this morning or at some point this week already. So the capturing of my information, that is what companies want, because that is a lead. So it is not a lead unless you are getting consumer information, typically their name, their email, potentially their phone number. If you've noticed a shift, especially with e-commerce, they're not just looking now for your email, they're also wanting your phone number. So this is what a lead is. A lead is getting somebody's contact information, and ideally a consumer within your target market, in your demographic, in your area.
I love that. And sorry, my brain was all thinking of like, man, talking about leads, like I get as your salon owner, like you want to be like, I get cash collected or I get my money back when people walk in the door and spend their money. And so what I hope that you're hearing, and if not, we're going to dive a little bit deeper into it, is that caring about the leads that you have and just you spending money even acquiring leads is like, those are a lot of people. Like if you just like, well, I'm going to do marketing and those people are going to come to the door and they spend money. If you're just counting on the people who actually walk through the door from your first ad and there's no nurture whatsoever, then you are getting a fraction of what's possible if you actually nurtured your leads. So if you spend like you run a campaign and you have a free give and people click on that and you're capturing their information, those being hot leads in your CRM, it's an important part. Then you get an opportunity to be able to share who you are, share your journey, share with them. So then they actually do come in the doors. Because sometimes of every 10 people who click your link, one might walk in the door. What if out of every 10 people who clicked your link, 5 walked in the door, 7 walked in the door, even if it was over time? So Katie, start to talk to me a little bit about that and understanding that there's a power in nurturing your leads. How would you help people like be able to realize what that could look like to nurture those leads once they have them?
Such a good question. And I just want to bring up this fact that
Nice.
let's say a consumer reaches out to your business, they fill something out, they actually provide their information. How quickly do you think that consumer wants to hear from the brand?
Ooh.
The answer is within 5 minutes.
What?
For
Would not
most
have said that.
businesses, that's totally unattainable. So, what do? Well, that is where drip automations come into play. This is the use of technology tools. So the minute I get a lead, I want to take them through a nurturing sequence where I drip out communications, typically in the form of emails, to this consumer. And what do I send them in those emails? Do I want to say, hey, hurry up and buy, take advantage of this deal? You can, because many brands do that. Just watch what happens the next time you sign up for something somewhere. Okay. But there's also something to be said about sending valuable information. So when we think about putting yourself in the shoes of the consumer, what do they want from you? Well, if there's a problem that you solve in a very special way that you could educate them about, you can start dripping them some inspiration or information that helps provide solutions or answers to some of their problems. So
Mm.
when we think about drip email communications as a form of nurturing your leads, that is the strategy that we want to take. And that's just one strategy. There's phone calls, there's text messages. You can make it as personable as possible, but really having an automation set up is critical in today's very competitive market. Now, the salon world has always kind of gotten it a little bit easy because you can probably bank on the fact that none of your competitors are doing that. So if you're the first one in your area to begin automations for lead gen, you are going to dominate. Nobody else is going to do that.
I love that.
And so I don't know if you want to continue to dive into like a little bits and parts of what I just brought up, but that is
Yeah.
critical for us in today's very fast paced tech savvy world.
Totally. And I hope that you hear that. And I know your little voices are kind of coming in and be like, yeah, okay, hear that, but I don't even know what does that even look like. And so being able to nurture, like making a common practice, like let's forget marketing it for a hot second. Like let's just make it a common practice that you are communicating with the people in your CRM on a regular basis, keeping them up to date, knowing other things that really kind of make sure that you're also thinking about is what is your mission? What does your salon stand for? What makes your salon stand out? If you don't even know those, I have tons of episodes that you can go back and listen talking about building your brand, building your mission, building your all of those things to where you are clear on what you are and what you represent and what, even if you don't know your avatar, who are you marketing to? Knowing those things are really important.
Are you ready to increase your retention and revenue and convert website traffic to clients? Then you're ready for Maya. Maya creates better business relationships by pairing the right clients with the right beauty professionals. Use promo code HPSA for your first 2 months free. Visit joinmaya.com to get started.
Ready to transform your business and improve your salon's profitability? With Lonza's 3-in-1 technology and intermixable shades, your hair color inventory is streamlined with limitless creativity behind the chair. Click the link below to unveil the secret to salon success.
We're Forest, born on the salon floor and built for and by hair and beauty professionals like you. Forest is your marketing, your reporting, your reputation management. You need one easy-to-use system that does it all. Forest, together we grow.
Now let's fast forward to now. Say you do know all those things. And the people who are sitting in your CRM, even if it's past clients, having an automation or a regular, consistent communication. I know, Katie, you were on a podcast not too long ago where you talked about how email is still an important part of your communication with your clients. Email is not dead. In fact, email is bigger and better than ever because of all that you can do with it, the automations you can set up, the follow-up sequences you can do. There's just so much more there. But if you don't have a constant way to communicate, and I know that you're like, well, I do on Instagram, I post my posts on Instagram, but being able to trickle into their email is an important part. So Katie, touch a little bit on the email just so we can give them a highlight of that. And then I want to talk about how, like, what does it look like for salon owners specifically to nurture their leads so they can get some ideas of what kind of things they should send their leads. So talk to me about emails for a second.
Well, one thing I'll just share, and I don't know if anybody follows Jenna Kutcher. She has the Goal Digger podcast. She's kind of found her fame through her Pinterest marketing strategies. Well, anyway, She shared on a recent webinar that for every $1 you spend on email marketing, you get $36 in return as an ROI. That's a very big return on your investment. I want to backtrack a little bit just to get everybody in the right mindset about spending money to generate leads. So the average lead costs most industry companies anywhere from $45 per lead to $400 per lead. Now, that's not $45 to get a new client in the door and they spend $125 that first visit. No, that is the lowest I have seen. And that was in the real estate industry. I'm not going to make this all about Maya. You know, I am the founder of Maya. You brought up a CRM, which is for most salons, it'd be like Forest Salon Software as an example of a CRM. Well, Maya is a CJM. That's your customer journey management system.
Oh, I love
and
that.
The average cost per lead for us is under $7, which is incredible. So getting our mindset around, if I'm going to spend money on marketing, and part of the journey of marketing is to generate leads, what are the right expectations I should have about what that investment looks like, and building that into my marketing expenditures. Okay. So then moving into marketing emails, very profitable area to invest time and energy. Of course, through Maya, we do that for you. All those drip automations I'm talking about can be set up right through our funnel. If you're doing it on your own, there are many platforms that you can send emails out through, but it oftentimes has to be manually sent. So you build the email, and then you have to go and manually send it to people. It's not set it and forget it. Set the automation, forget it. So that makes it very, very challenging for owners. And oftentimes, if you want that next level way of working, you're going to have to hire a marketing agency typically to set those things up for you, which doesn't help if you don't have a way you're pushing new contacts into the funnel. Okay, so it's a whole big story. So without getting overly complicated, let's dive into something simple. Imagine that you're at a local chamber of commerce, or you're getting leads for new recruits. You're trying to grow your team and you show up at a career fair. Simply bringing a really cool sign-up sheet. You could have a little drawing for like a hair care package or something, and you get all the students at the career fair to give you their name, their email, their phone number, and their Instagram hair page. And then you do some of the basics. You start following them on Instagram. You direct message them. Tell them their work is awesome. Tell them like, hey, we have a way to grow your team very quickly at our salon with the clients you're actually going to love to do your best work with. Hey, that's Maya. Okay. But then email them. Hey, we are so thankful we got to meet you last night. Would you like to come in and shadow and visit our salon? There's things that you can do manually that take just a little bit of work. But once you do it once and you create your templates, you create your process, you create that, then anybody on your team can go and replicate and do that. It doesn't always have to be you, but that right there is great marketing. And it can be a very simplified process in connecting with people who aren't already doing business with you or not already on the team.
Totally. Man, this is so good. And I love what you said earlier of like, people aren't doing this. And it's not a common necessarily thing that you see in many salons. And so being a salon who is willing to, put in that extra, like communicate with people when you're ready to hire, you already have people that you've been talking to, or, like when being able to communicate with people and be a bigger presence on social media or bigger presence in email, just a communicative presence. People want that connection, especially we talk about this on the podcast more times than I can count, of that. When you are communicating to people, you're trying to attract the people to your salon. People want to feel like they belong there. Because if they're going to come spend hundreds of dollars in your salon, it's going to be a reoccurring thing. Some people come every 6 weeks, sometimes shorter, sometimes longer. People are going to spend a lot of time in your salon. They want to feel connected to you. They want to feel like you care about them. And there is a big difference between marketing in a way that is just, inauthentic and not being. So if you get clear in what you're trying to communicate and build those marketing plans about who you are, who you're trying to attract, and trying to communicate with people in a way that you want to connect with them, it's going to make a big world of difference. And it's not what salons down the street are doing. So if people are getting constant emails or constant updates, or like we just implemented this new service in our salon, come try it for this, and if you come try it this week, then I'll give you this for free, or I'll add this on it. Like, remember, value up, don't discount down. And so just being able to communicate and keep them up to date, be like, man, we just renovated this and we just did these things, or man, our girl in our salon, one of our employees just bought her first car, I don't even know. Being able to share personable things like that, there is so many different ways to approach it. You have to figure out what works for you and then just get consistent with that. And I love what you said, Katie, about just do the first one. It might be a lot of work and be like, man, how do I ever do that? But let me tell you, the return on the investment of your time, energy, and the money you'll put into this is a different way of looking at marketing. You're building a presence in the world. When people, Google, you have a bigger presence in the world, you have more communication, your search engine optimization, SEO, we talked about earlier, will go up because you're spending the time to nurture a presence online. And let me tell you, that is going to matter. Give another couple of years, that's going to be it already is so much. An important part is to have that presence online.
Let me just share, if you don't mind.
Please.
Yeah, I'd love to share one of my favorite quotes.
Oh, love quotes.
Successful people do what others aren't willing or able to do. So when you think about, with owners, it's never adopting new ideas. I think we're really good about saying, that sounds awesome, it sounds smart, we're going to do it. And then it's not even necessarily the executions. It's typically we went and we did this execution of this new idea, this new concept, but then it kind of dwindles, and we, like, a month later, we're like, hey, who's in charge of this? Are we still doing this? No, we've not. It kind of fell off. So I would start very, very small and very, very simple, and you can always ramp it up. So here's a very quick step that I'd love to share. I want you to look at who you're following, the emails that you're getting, and which emails do you actually open up. So if you have an email this week from somebody who's trying to sell you something and you actually opened it up, I want you to go take note of, what did the subject line say? What got you? What grabbed your attention? Write it down and just try it out for your own. How can you take that same thing and translate it into your own salon and create content around that topic? And that would be like literally low-hanging fruit for you to get ideas on, we should do something similar to that. Because here's the thing, 95% of decisions we make are made non-consciously from the emotional parts of our brain. Our prefrontal cortex, our system 1 part of the brain, are responsible for 95% of our decisions. So thinking about what moved you to open an email and get you excited to see what the content was will apply to your own community, because you're a consumer, they're a consumer.
Man, I love that. That is such a good perspective of realizing that, like, you're in the same boat, you do the same thing, and realizing that it's a way of connecting with your audience and learning. I love you breaking it down the way that you brought it so simple, of a place to start, so you can start to be more aware and more observant of how you as a consumer is being marketed to, what attracts you, and then seeing it at play, seeing it happen will help you expand and understand it. Because now with different marketing systems that you have, and I'm sure Maya has this too, you can track how many emails were opened, how many emails how many of them were clicked. And then once you start to open up, it's a good starting point to where you can build into understanding what's working, what's not working, and how do I pivot? How do I start to, and that is a bigger thing. And I love what you said, Katie, on how, you start this big thing. You're like, okay, I'm going to do this. You listen to this podcast, you set up a whole campaign, you do it for a week, and then it kind of just falls off because you're just like, I'm not an expert. I don't know what I'm doing, or whatever reason kind of comes in that makes it stop functioning. Just taking those baby steps and starting out somewhere small and watching that be successful and just being more aware of it, and then being able to feed off of that and then go to the next thing, try the next thing. And I think it's just a matter of get something out there. Don't feel like you have to have all the pieces in place, all the right answers, even the right necessarily words. Start somewhere and start getting that stuff out. There is plenty of room to pivot, plenty of room to add to it. But even waiting until you have it perfect, you're never going to get it out there. And there's no such thing as perfect. But starting in a place where you can recognize in other places or other people who are marketing to you what they're even doing is such a great place to start, because it's going to be different in your own way, but you can pick up on what they're like. Think objectively of, like, what are they trying to communicate to me? What approach did they take in why I opened that email, which I think is such a good point, Katie.
Another really great tip for your awareness part of your funnel, getting in front of people who aren't necessarily on Google right this minute looking for hair services and generating leads, is utilizing advertising through Meta, so Facebook and Instagram.
So good.
We are big proponents of running Facebook ads. We have a really great formula that works. If Kayla's cool with it, we'll offer that as a special gift for listeners today, which
Nice.
Molly and the team there already have this, by the way. But this is where we teach owners, how do you actually go create a very successful Facebook ad on your own and have somebody on your team do it. You don't have to spend thousands to work with a marketing agency who put hundreds of dollars in their pocket before you even spend the money on the ad itself to get in front of your community. There are really strategic ways to get in front of the people in your area to generate leads and awareness around your brand. Here's why I want to bring this up, though, is our expectations. So we do this, we run ads to build awareness and generate leads. We cannot be expecting immediate new client results from this yet, okay? So the average conversion for Facebook ads is 1 to 3%. And then people are like, geez, that is so low. Why would you even do it? Because nobody else is, and it's your way of getting in front of people. So they may not buy today, but if they're seeing your brand in front of them on a regular basis, subconsciously, when they're ready to buy, they're going to think of you. You're going to create you're going to be having mental real estate taken up in their brain. And that, my friends, is neuromarketing, which is based on social psychology and behavioral economics. So this is so important for us to do, but it's not one of those initiatives that you're going to get immediate results. So it's kind of like I go to the gym and then tomorrow I get on the scale and I'm mad because I didn't lose any weight. Well, it's not going to work like that, and neither does proper marketing.
Right. I love that. That's such a good point, because I think sometimes, people get discouraged. You're like, oh, I tried that. I've tried marketing. I've spent this much money and nothing's working. And yes, and I get that, because it can take some time, but don't give up just because it's also like, it's something to figure out, and you can't get the data that you need to take the tweaks that you need to do unless you just do it too. You have to be able to throw that spaghetti at the wall, be able to actually make an effort to do something to realize what is working and what is not. And it'll get clearer and clearer as you continue to do it, make it a practice. Because I know you own a salon. I know there's a lot to figure out. You got to hire, you got to build your team, you got to do all those things. But if you neglect marketing in whatever capacity that works for you in your salon, everybody is different. Maybe you listen to this podcast, you're like, nope, that's not for me. I have this other thing that's working. Or yes, I'm more interested. Or you want to find a community of people who are diving into marketing and it's working for them. You know where to find a great community. Wink, wink. And even if you want to utilize mine, you're like, I can't do it myself, I need support in that. Like, there's so much support that you can get. If this isn't my strong suit, then find a place whose strong suit that it is, so you can jump on board with them and have that support. Because if you aren't putting energy into marketing, you're going to be left behind. And you're like, oh, I've spent 20 years, I'm doing great, I've never marketed a day in my life. Well, great. You have a cool opportunity, and then I'm happy for you. And if you never have touched marketing and you're soaring, then that's great. But what if you're doing great, you haven't marketed a day in your life, and then you do start marketing and you start building a presence online, and then you have so much more of a successful business, because that is an area you want people to feel connected to you. You want people to walk in your doors and be like, yeah, man, I've been seeing your stuff for the last month. Because the way that it all works is, with all the technology to this day, you Google search something, and then the phones connect to that, and they know it. They're just so smart. They're smartphones. We have smartphones. And so they will connect to what is this person interested in, and you can start to track those things. And then you build on top of that. And it's just a cool tool for you to use. You're like, well, I don't want to do that to people. That is what our day and age, that is building a business, that is being successful, that is using your resources, that is evolving in the times. It is 2024. There are so many different ways to do it. So find the support that you need, find the people, find the community, join Maya, just look or ask the questions. And if you have further questions, and I would love, Katie, thank you for offering. Tell me again, what was it that you said that you had?
We have a free class where I teach how to create a successful Facebook ad. People will then understand, how much should I spend on this ad? What kind of results should I expect? What should be that formula for a successful ad? And I teach that. It's like a 30-minute instant access. Watch it, and you can download our ebook that is supporting material to share with your marketing team.
That's beautiful. So I will put that in the description. I used to say the number, but then you might be driving. So I'll put that in the description. If you want access to that, find out how in the description, and you can get access to that immediately. Thank you so much, Kati. It is always a pleasure to have you on the podcast and just dive into marketing. I love your brain. I love the big words that you use. It just helps challenge me to even think like marketing doesn't have to be so scary, especially if you find people who have done the research and they've done the work to know what's working, what's not working. Band together with those people, find your tribe, find your community, find people where it's working for you, and get on the board. And if it's not for you, that's okay. You do you, but you can have more success if you try on marketing. And thank you so much, Kati, for all your support. And just Maya is amazing. So many of our clients use it. And it's always a pleasure to have you on the podcast.
Thank you, Kayla. We feel the same about you at HPSA. All of you are rock stars. You're unicorns, and I love being around you. So thanks for having me.
Thank you. I love that. What a good word picture. We're unicorns. Well, thank you for joining us on this episode of the Profitable Salon Owner Podcast, and we'll see you next time.
You've been listening to the Profitable Salon Owner Podcast. Be sure to like, subscribe, leave us a review, and check us out at profitablesalon.com for more episodes, content, and to help you turn your salon into the business you've always dreamt of.